You leave an empty box on the floor for 30 seconds and your cat is already inside it. Doesn't matter what size. Doesn't matter where you put it. That cardboard rectangle has more magnetic pull than anything you've ever bought specifically for your cat. And here's the thing everyone gets backwards. This isn't cute, quirky behavior. This is your cat following a survival blueprint so hardwired that even big cats in sanctuaries, lions and tigers who've never seen a cardboard box in their lives, will claim one the second it appears. But the reason nearly every cat owner gives for why this happens, it's maybe 10% of the actual story. There's one specific thing a box provides that your cat's nervous system is desperately seeking every single day, something your entire home fails to give them no matter how comfortable you make it. And it explains everything from why your cat picks that ratty Amazon box over the expensive cat bed, to why they'll sit in a box that's 3 sizes too small rather than stretch out on your couch. Hold that thought, because by the end of this, that empty box in your recycling is going to look completely different. Your cat isn't hiding from you, they're enclosing themselves. First thing people say when they see a cat in a box is, "Oh, they're hiding." And sure, sometimes that's part of it. But watch what happens when your cat has the choice between hiding under the bed where nobody can see them at all, and sitting in a clear box in the middle of the room. 9 times out of 10, they pick the box. Even if it's transparent. Even if you're staring right at them. Because what they're actually doing has nothing to do with invisibility. They're creating walls. Think about your home from your cat's perspective for a second. It's mostly open space. Wide floors, tall ceilings, rooms that flow into other rooms. To you, that's comfortable. To your cat, that's exposure. 360 degrees of potential threat. Anything could come from any direction, and they'd have to track all of it constantly. That's exhausting for a nervous system built on vigilance. But a box? A box shrinks the world down to one opening. One direction to monitor. Everything else is solid barrier, confirmed safe, no longer requiring attention. Your cat's not hiding in that box. They're reducing their defensive perimeter from a circle to a single point. And that shift, from scanning everything to watching one doorway, that drops their stress response immediately. It's not about being seen or not seen. It's about controlling how many directions danger can come from. And here's where it gets interesting. Researchers at Utrecht University actually tested this. They gave shelter cats boxes and monitored their stress hormones compared to cats without boxes. The cats with boxes showed significantly lower cortisol levels within days. Not because they were more hidden. The boxes were in open areas. But because those walls gave them something open space never can. A corner to put their back against. A zone they could own completely. Your cat doesn't want to disappear. They want a fortress small enough to defend. And that box sitting on your kitchen floor? That's the only fortress most homes accidentally provide. The temperature thing is real, but it's not what you think. Everyone knows cats love warmth. They find the sunny spot, the laptop, the fresh laundry. So when your cat climbs into a box, the assumption is it's warmer in there. Cozy. Insulated. And that's partially true, but it's missing the deeper mechanism. Cats have a thermoneutral zone, the temperature range where their body doesn't have to work to heat or cool itself. For humans, that's around 72 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. For cats? It's 86 to 97 degrees. That means your comfortable room temperature is actually cold to your cat. They're constantly compensating, burning energy just to maintain body heat in an environment that feels chilly to them. Now put your cat in a box. Suddenly their body heat isn't dissipating into open air. It's bouncing off cardboard walls just inches away, creating a microclimate around them. The temperature inside that box can climb 10 to 15 degrees higher than the room in minutes. Not because the box generates heat, but because it traps what your cat is already producing. So yes, boxes are warmer. But here's the twist. It's not comfort your cat is chasing. It's efficiency. Every minute your cat spends in their thermoneutral zone is a minute their metabolism can relax. A minute they're not burning calories just to stay warm. In the wild, that's survival math. Energy saved is energy available for hunting, for escaping, for healing. Your house cat isn't worried about their next meal, but their body doesn't know that. The biological drive to conserve energy is still running the same program it has for thousands of years. That box isn't a luxury. It's your cat's nervous system finding a way to stop hemorrhaging resources in a space that's built for human comfort, not feline biology. And if you're starting to realize your cat's whole experience of your home is different than you imagined, do me a favor and subscribe to Whisker Wisdom so we can keep translating what your cat is really telling you every single day. Every box is an ambush point your cat never has to use. Here's something you've probably noticed but never connected. Your cat doesn't just sit in boxes passively. They watch from them. They peer over the edge. They track movement. Their pupils dilate. Their ears swivel. And sometimes, if you walk past at just the right moment, they explode out of that box like you triggered a trap. That's not playfulness randomly firing. That's predator training that never shuts off. In the wild, cats hunt from concealment. They're not chase predators like wolves that run their prey down over distance. They're ambush specialists. They need cover to hide their approach, and they need it at the exact height and distance their body is built to strike from. A box gives them that. The walls hide their body while their head stays mobile. The opening frames their target like a scope. The confined space loads their hindquarters like a spring, giving them something to push against when they launch. Your cat doesn't know they're playing. As far as their muscle memory is concerned, they're rehearsing a kill strike. And every box is a perfect blind they didn't have to find in tall grass or underbrush. It's pre-made hunting infrastructure, and their instincts recognize it instantly. But here's what that means for the other 23 hours of the day when they're not pouncing. That same box that's an ambush point is also a defended position. Because if your cat can strike from it, nothing else can strike into it easily. The walls that hide them from prey also shield them from predators. The opening that funnels their attack outward also funnels threats into a narrow choke point they can see coming. It's both sides of the survival coin in one piece of cardboard. And your cat's brain doesn't differentiate between hunting mode and safety mode. It just knows, this structure improves my odds both ways. So when your cat sits in a box doing absolutely nothing, just existing in there with half-closed eyes, they're not bored. They're occupying strategic territory their instincts told them to secure. Here's the truth we've been circling. Your cat is obsessed with boxes because boxes are the only thing in your entire home that your cat has complete control over. Not partial control. Not shared control. Total ownership. Think about everything else in your house. The couch? You sit on it whenever you want. The bed? You get in and out, disrupting their spot. The cat tree you bought them? It's in a location you chose, stays where you put it, exists on your terms. Even your lap, the warmest, safest spot available, that's conditional. You decide when you sit down, when you stand up, when you're available. Your cat has access, but not control. But a box? A box is small enough that only they fit. It appears randomly, in different locations, like territory they discovered rather than something you assigned. And most importantly, when they're inside it, you leave them alone. You don't reach in and move them. You don't reconfigure it. You don't share it. For once, they're not accommodating themselves to your space. They're in a space that accommodates only them. And here's the part that makes it all click. Cats are control-oriented creatures in a domestic life where they control almost nothing. They don't choose when food appears or what's in the bowl. They don't decide if the door opens or stays closed. They can't regulate the temperature or the noise level or who comes and goes. Nearly every variable in their environment is managed by you. That's fine, that's the deal of domestication. But it comes with a cost. A constant low-level stress from never being the decision-maker. Then you bring home a box. And suddenly there's this one small zone where they set the rules. They decide when to enter and when to leave. They choose which box if there are multiples. They determine the position, rotating it with their body weight, scratching it to mark it, making it theirs in ways that actually stick. Nobody overrides them. Nobody optimizes it. It's theirs. So here's what I need you to understand. That box obsession isn't random weirdness. It's your cat trying to carve out the one piece of genuine autonomy available to them. The walls provide safety. The temperature efficiency gives them biological relief. The ambush potential satisfies instinct. But the control, the ability to claim something entirely, that's what makes boxes irreplaceable. Your cat can't control your schedule, your guests, the construction noise outside, the dog next door. But they can control that 12-inch cube of cardboard. And in a life where almost everything happens to them rather than because of them, that tiny sovereignty matters more than any bed you could buy. So tonight, when you see your cat wedged into a box that looks uncomfortable, too small, objectively worse than a dozen other options, you'll know what you're actually looking at. Not stubbornness. Not silliness. Just a creature doing the one thing they can to feel like the world bends to them instead of the other way around. And that beat-up Amazon box on your floor? That's not trash. That's the only throne your cat will ever have.